Hello, thank you for watching my video. Now, on the last video, we done this first part of splitting cards. Okay, so I'm gonna close. I'm just gonna minimize that. Let me get to the second part. So I filled part of it in as a boil. It was just boilerplate code, really. So what I'm gonna explain, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy and paste some code in. Don't want to talk about it. Okay, what this code does is every item in new splits, like it's going to be a number, like for instance 8, it's going to loop through the cards until it finds one that is empty, right? So it's going to find that out by this line here. This will say, are you empty? And then if it is empty, it will fill that out and then it will break out. Okay. Now, if you look at this code, it will probably work. However, when you look at it, you have to wonder: should this be a while loop? Should it be a do while? Because what it is looping and then it's waiting for a certain condition and then it's just stopping. So you could say it should be a while loop. Okay. Another thing you might ask is, oh, hey there, what are you doing? What is it actually doing? It's finding the first element that's empty and then it's adding some properties to it. Okay. So really, I've been using underscore. So really, if I went to underscore here, there's something called find, and what it does is it takes a predicate and a list and it finds so it looks through each value in the list, returning the first one that passes the truth test. Okay, so that's what we're actually doing. We're gonna put some. We're gonna we just want one thing returned back, and then we're gonna modify it, and then that's what's done. Okay. So I strongly advise you to learn how to use underscore. And if you do that, it will make your development much easier. It'll be much easier. You'll be able to do incredible things, and everyone will think that you're a superstar developer. Okay. Now back to this. I'm going to use underscore now and do the same thing. I'm going to use find. I'm going to use a predicate, and that's the predicate. I'm going to take these brackets out. Just take these out. I've got Babel installed, so that will sort out that. Okay. But anyway, that's the predicate. So that will find. It's doing a find. It's going to look through my cards and it's going to find the first one that matches this predicate. That's card. That means the cards. That means it hasn't got the property cards. So the first one it finds that it's going to store it in that variable, and then all I have to do is that. Add the card, which is this here. Add it to H. Double D equals false. Split is the item. Similar to this one. Similar to what I've done on this one here. As you can see, I don't have to do anything with the split counts. Okay, these things look similar. There you go, I can see. Okay. So that is now done. Okay, let me just comment this out. So what we have to do now is before I do anything else, I'm gonna put something in here. I'll explain it now. Here, after populate cards, it's always gonna run populate cards first, and everything will be classified. Okay, everything's gonna be classified as either P or U or whatever. And then when it comes to split, it's got an if else. So it's got an if it equals P, then it's got an if and an else. Everything in this else will be classified. Okay. And also down here, everything in this will be classified. Can you see here? So everything will be classified there. So this here, if the split count is more than 40, it's not going to ever be 4, but we're going to set it to something. But we just have to test. Before we do that, we just have to do some testing. So what I'm going to do is, anything here, it's not going to fit in with all the other objects. And the reason that is this will just these objects here would appear that they've just got one card, so we just have to add a new card to them, and it's got the H on there, so that will just do that. You know that you just have to add a new card onto that one. These objects here, this was a split, and then the split was, you could say the split was refused. So it said split, and it says no, you can't split because there's too much splits now. So this needs to be reclassified, as in it really needs to go back to, if it went back to Poplar, if we put this back into Poplar hands, it will still come back as split again, so it'll just be an endless loop. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to a new thing, which is R, so we'll have to reclassify it. Okay, now we can leave it like this, and I'm not going to set that to anything yet, but until I finish testing splitting. So what this means is that's going to be incomplete, and it's going to go off to somewhere else, and it's going to get complete. And the same with everything that gets split. It's just going to be one card, so it's not complete. Everything else would have two cards, and this is only going to have one card. So somewhere else will complete it. And the same with this. Somewhere else will complete this. So it's going to leave it like that, and it's not complete, and that's not complete. But at least it is now classified as R. So somewhere else we're going to say this is an R. You got a pair of 8s, and we can't split it. It can't be split for whatever reason, because we know that it's R. That means you had a split and you can't be split. So we have to do something else with it. Okay? And where we put that code is yet to be worked out. Okay? Now, I could just leave it as 40 and then forget about it and say, okay, let's just allow infinite splits. Okay? I mean, it's not going to be infinite, but 30 to 30 or whatever it is. Okay? But we decided not to do that. We decided to handle the splits counts. Okay? So what I need to do now is I need to do some tests for this. So let me just close some of these things. So I'm going to create a function here specifically for these test splits. It's going to let P equal new P dot I'm going to copy the rest of it in. I'm not explaining it. Oops. So what that is doing is it's going to reset it. Then it's going to add the first card, which is a 2. Okay. Then it's going to add the second card. At this point, you're going to have a pair of 2s and a 6. So it's going to say that it's going to come up with split. So then it's going to split it into one hand with 2 cards. Okay, so in fact, I'm going to start. I'm going to walk before I run. So let's just test that first. Okay, so we're going to test that it will just split this into 2 hands, and then that's all it will do. Okay, so I'm just going to do test splits. Let me just make that a bit bigger. Okay, so here you are. You can see what happened here. We got the first card is 2, and it didn't do anything because it's only got 1 card. The second card came in, and it split it. Can you see? It turned it into 2 hands. Okay, so that's now 2 hands, and I need to change something here because I need to see the split count. So I'm going to I thought I'd be able to see the split count. Okay, I can see what the problem is. Oh man, let me just change that to this. Let's just change that to that. So we just get the full object. Okay, what am I doing? Should be that. I thought it looked exactly how it was did before. Now there you go. So there's the split count. Okay. So the split count was 1. Okay, let me just make it a bit more complicated now. So we're going to do that. So what happened? What that means is this object has got 2 hands to it, and both of them have got 1, 2. So because we've got 2 hands, we're going to have to give it 2 cards. So this is saying for the first hand you get 2, and for the second hand you get 2. Okay, so that should now split it up to 4 cards. So if I do that, split card is 3, and as you can see, there's 4 2s now. Because there's 4 2s now, the next one is that. And in fact, I'm going to go one further. I'm going to do 16 splits. So if I just add that, I should get 16 splits. So there'll be 4 empty objects left. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means I've got 16 that's equivalent to me. That's equivalent of me getting a bunch of 2s. There you go. So it works. It seems to work. All the objects are ready to receive the next card. Okay. So now the next time I put hands in, I've got to put 16 hands in. So I won't be bothering to, if I'm gonna leave it. Okay. So at this stage, we've tested the split. Now we just gotta do something about this thing here. So probably need to get rid of some of these. I'm gonna work out what number to put here. I'm gonna put 3. I need to reclassify them. If I put 5, so let's put 3. Okay. So I split. That's gonna make it 3, and I think it will split the first time without doing anything. Let's do split count. Split count is 3. Okay, so that's gonna make it easy for us. These 4 hands now, you won't split them. So let's see what happens. So you see this one here, it said no, you cannot split. Because split count is too much. So split count is 4 and it stayed at 4. And this one got refused, that got refused. Okay. So that's it for this video. We've tested split count and we've managed to split the cards. So I think we've finished the player now. The next part of the game, we're gonna sort of we've made the card. Okay, let me just minimize some of these. I'll talk about what we made. So we made a card machine, and you just basically say hit. All we say to this is in it, and just to hit, and it gives us a new card, and that's all that does. We made a player, and he's got his own charts, and he just plays according to his chart. And this is his chart here. He just plays according to his chart, and that's all he does. Okay. So now we need a class called, we need a dealer. We need a dealer, someone who's going to say, okay, you, like for instance, this one's H. So the dealer's going to say, okay, you put H, here's another card, and we'll give that player another card. Or R, okay, you've got to be reclassified. This card, this hand has got to be reclassified. It's no longer, it's not, we're not going to get, even though you've got to play with 2s, it will not be a split. Okay? So I'll continue that on the next video. Thanks for watching this video. Goodbye.